Part 22. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 218. The journey into the forest continues. At this time, Wang Xiaoli had completely lost the idea of stopping Yang Yu from going to Mingzu Lake, and instead took the initiative to lead the way. The little dream demon has been staying on Yang Yu's head, and the two raised braids seem to be its best habitat. It follows Yang Yu with squinted eyes and a smile. Behind Yang Yu, Dede was holding his golden conch cap. In the conch cap, the little fish opened his big eyes and looked at everything in the surrounding forest, which was very novel. As for the salted fish king, roar. As soon as you look up, you can see the flying elf flying around in a panic and flapping its wings. Come on, the happy salted fish king is playing with the birds again. The salted fish king has never played such an interesting game of salted fish and birds. Ever since he came to the forest, he felt that his heart, which was bound in the arena, suddenly became enlightened. He was full of energy and was not tired at all. A feeling of so cool. The salted fish king controlled his flying speed. He neither chased those tiny waves, nor did he think of harming those baby birds or eagles. The salted fish king was just restrained for too long. Salted fish king, don't run too far. Yang Yu yelled towards the sky. He was not worried about salted fish king's safety at all. He mainly wanted to comfort himself. If salted fish king scared some people, he had warned salted fish king not to run too far already. But there shouldn't be any problem, as long as you don't run into some trainers who are riding on the backs of flying elves traveling to and from the forest. I'm afraid that the salted fish king will chase them and scare them. Or it would be a bit troublesome to tire out the flying elf. When he thought of this, Yang Yu added loudly, "Salted fish king, don't chase people. Roar." The salted fish king's answer was still so simple and crude. The front is the border. Ordinary trainers who come to the Pearl Forest will generally not go in. Except for senior trainers, there are some stubborn ones. Speaking of this, Wang Xiaoli couldn't help laughing. Yang Yu knew what Wang Xiaoli was laughing at and started laughing too. The little dream demon on the head floated up, and in front of Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli's eyes, another dream demon slowly appeared in the empty place. The color of this dream monster is a little darker than that of the little dream monster. Quiet. Soon, many dream demons appeared one after another around the border. These dream demons looked in the direction of Yang Yu and showed very friendly and even shy smiles. They probably had a good meal of fear last night. Have a good meal, right? The little dream demon flew in front of Yang Yu, greeted his little hands, and then flew into the boundary. Miraculously, these dream demons gradually formed a circle around Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli, and then all the figures it was hidden, as if it had disappeared out of thin air. Oh my God, Wang Xiaoli's heart still trembled. However, the dream monsters didn't seem to care at all about the fear he just had, and even felt a little disgusted with it. Maybe it was because they were very satisfied with the fear meal last night. I can no longer look down on this little fear. Is this? Yang Yu was stunned for a moment, then became speechless. Is this protecting us? Hey! The little dream demon smiled and nodded in front of Yang Yu, pointing with her little finger into the border, and then pouted and opened her big eyes, as if to say, "This is the territory of our dream monsters." Yang Yu, you just walked in. Wang Xiaoli remembered that there were many hidden and invisible dream monsters around him, which were more terrifying than the visible dream monsters. He can accept the little dream monster, but he still can't accept the circle of dream monsters. The little dream demon said that they will protect us. Don't you believe in the status of the dream demon clan in the Pearl Forest? Yang Yu smiled and reached out to pat Wang Xiaoli's shoulder and said in an encouraging tone, "This is what a great opportunity. Have you ever been to the center of Pearl Lake? Now, you have such an opportunity in front of you. The dream monsters hiding around you are the best bodyguards. I. Wang Xiaoli opened his mouth. Don't be so afraid, let's go, I'm here, Yang Yu said in a deep voice. Do you still remember your enthusiastic introduction to your powerful bodyguard group outside the Pearl Forest? Do you still remember your performance when you were in the team? At that time, in front of so many people, you were not afraid at all. Let's go, Dolly bodyguard team, Dolly will work miracles. Yang Yu directly followed the little dream demon and stepped into the border first. Strength can produce miracles, Wang Xiaoli couldn't help but muttered for a while. Remembering the enlightenment in his heart not long ago, his eyes suddenly lit up, and then he quickly trotted to catch up with Yang Yu. He used his greatest strength to report to Yang Yu, the powerful bodyguard team is at your service wholeheartedly. The little dream demon floating in front almost crashed due to the loud noise. Fortunately, it reacted and flew towards Wang Xiaoli with its small mouth pouted and its small fists clenched. Keep your voice down, don't scare away the bodyguards around you. Yang Yu smiled and stretched out his hand to comfort the little dream demon. For Wang Xiaoli, Yang Yu felt a little guilty in his heart. At the same time, he was very happy to meet such an interesting person. Young people. The road to becoming a trainer is so long. If you meet interesting people on the road, why not make friends? Wang Xiaoli was in an extremely excited mood, and at the same time it was like he was dreaming. He now wants to go back and tell his father about this magical experience. Dad, you may not believe it, but I met a few fighting men in the Pearl Forest, a ridiculously powerful young man. At the same time, there was actually a dream monster protecting them when they entered the Pearl Lake. Yang Yu hugged the little dream demon and comforted it while carefully looking at the environment deep in the forest. However, with the protection of a group of dream monsters hiding around, no other rare elves appeared in the forest. Lu Ming, how long does it take to reach Pearl Lake? Will you lead the way? An impatient female voice came from a forest. Xiao Xiao, don't worry, we're almost here. Pearl Lake is still a little far from the border. A fair and handsome face appeared from the woods, carrying a hiking bag and a tall figure. Senior Shangxian, do you think we will meet a cute elf like Mary Lou in Pearl Lake now? I really want one, the female voice sounded a little coquettish. Xiao Xiao, why don't you consider Kentaro? There will be Kentaro drinking water next to the center of the lake. Yefang, Kentaro is not cute at all, okay. You three, wait a moment, there seems to be some movement ahead. Qiu Shangxian lowered his voice slightly. Soon, the three people around them lowered their steps and waited cautiously in the woods. Is it possible that a rare elf is about to appear? The girl named Xiao Xiao immediately held her breath. Everyone, including Qiu Shangxian, looked nervously at the woods not far away. Yang Yu, brother, can I call you brother? Wait for me, don't walk so fast. Wang Xiaoli looked at Yang Yu and quickened his pace, and his whole body felt bad. With the protection of the dream demon, you can't do whatever you want. The little dream demon flies so fast, of course we have to run with him. Yang Yu smiled softly. The little dream demon flew so happily, which made Yang Yu feel happy and started to speed up his pace. He is indeed a cute elf. A dream monster in the daytime. Qiu Shangxian and the others were startled, and then, Xiao Xiao's eyes suddenly only saw the little dream monster floating in the air and flying. I'm going to catch it? Ask for votes. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 219. Xiao Xiao, wait a minute and see what happens next. Lu Ming couldn't help but said, will there be any other dangerous elves behind the dream demon? I want this little dream monster, it's so cute. Xiao Xiao's voice was a little anxious. This little dream monster that suddenly appeared was like an arrangement given by God. When I met you around the corner like. How can there be dream monsters during the day? Qiu Shangxian, who was obviously the leader of the team, lowered his head and muttered, his angular and sunny face full of doubts. "Senior, there are two people chasing the dream demon," Yefang suddenly pointed in the direction ahead and reminded. "Senior Shangxian, I can't wait any longer. I don't want to wait any longer. That's my dream monster. I took my fancy first." Xiao Xiao immediately stood up from the bush where she was squatting. She looked at the little dream monster. The way the demon swayed and floated, my heart was already filled with dream demons. "Hey, Xiao Xiao," Lu Ming suddenly looked stunned. Why did he run out suddenly? "Hey, little girl, that's how it is when you meet an elf you like." Qiu Shangxian sighed, shook his head helplessly, and then said to Lu Ming and Yefang, "Let's follow him first, and pay attention to safety." "Yes, Senior," Lu Ming and Yefang nodded. The three people quickly followed Xiao Xiao and shuttled through the woods. However, Qiu Shangxuan's eyes felt vaguely uneasy for some reason. Did he ignore some information? "Little dream demon, are we almost at Pearl Lake?" Yang Yu asked breathlessly while running. In his opinion, this should be the only reason, right? The little dream demon turned around and nodded a little with a smile. Her hair, which was like a will-o'-the-wisp, rolled like waves as she nodded. She turned around and continued to float quickly in the direction ahead. "Xiao Li, let's follow," Yang Yu waved. Okay, Wang Xiaoli was infected by Yang Yu's emotions at this time, and was less worried and more excited about the Pearl Lake he was about to arrive. He, Wang Xiaoli, actually came to Mingzhu Lake in person one day. "Stop! Stop! Hateful!" He actually ran so fast. "My little dream monster, what should I do if someone gets ahead of me?" Xiao Xiao gritted her teeth and stared hard at the blurry figure in front of her. She was so angry. It was all because Lu Ming just said wait a minute, otherwise she would have caught up long ago. Xiao Xiao's breathing became heavy when he thought that he might lose that dream monster. No, we must stop those two people." Xiao Xiao reached out and took out a pokeball from his pocket, gritted his teeth. "Go, BB Bird, go and help me stop those two people in front. Hold head high." After receiving the master's order, BB Bird immediately chirped loudly, and then quickly shuttled in the direction of Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli's figures in front. Whistle, whiz. There seemed to be a sound of tearing the air in the air. "Come on, BB Bird." Xiao Xiao clenched her fists excitedly and nervously, and quickened the pace on her feet. At this time, Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli heard a fierce bird song. They didn't take it seriously because there were too many birdsong in the forest. What's more, when Yang Yu summoned the salted fish king before, the hysterical bird the sound, isn't too lively. But what the two of them didn't expect was ang 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 ang. Just above them, the intense bird song suddenly became urgent, as if a little frightened. Then, they heard a thud sound, and a stupid bird unexpectedly hit the tree trunk not far away and fell directly to the ground. On the road ahead of Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli. "Yang Yu! Wang Xiaoli! What's going on? Are all the BB birds so obsessed with it now? It's become popular to bang their heads against trees." Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli were completely unaware that this was the protection of the surrounding dream monsters. When BB Bird locked its sharp gaze on Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli, the dream monsters felt the energy it locked in early. Just when BB Bird wanted to appear through the sky and hinder Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli from moving forward, the dream monsters are taking action. Probably only the ghost knows what horrific scene BB Bird encountered. BB Bird only felt that the place he flew over was not an open space, but a picture. When the ghost opened his bloody mouth, he was immediately frightened and his mind went flying, and he panicked. It wanted to slow down, turn around and escape, but found that its wings didn't obey the orders at all and were still flapping. When it saw a thick tree trunk suddenly appeared in front of its eyes. It's completely too late. BB Bird is really trying so hard. Xiao Xiao was extremely moved. In order to help her stop the two people's actions, BB Bird actually hit a tree. The acting is also great. She believed it. BB Bird, are you okay? Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli finally heard the panicked voices behind them, and they immediately turned around. How could it be a girl and only one person? Xiao Xiao thanked God that she finally caught up with the two people in front of her. At the same time, the expression on her face suddenly changed because she discovered that Bibi Niao was not acting just now. Such serious injuries on her body were real. He hit the tree hard. This, little sister, this is your BB Bird. Why did it suddenly hit the tree? Yang Yu couldn't help but ask. Are you alone in the forest? It's too dangerous here, little sister, you can't come here alone. Wang Xiaoli looked around and found that there was no other person. Xiao Xiao took out the wound medicine he had prepared, wiped it for BB Bird, and put it away with the elf ball. She won't let BB Bird's efforts go in vain, she must catch that dream monster. Xiao Xiao! Xiao Xiao, where are you? At this time, a shouting voice came from behind Xiao Xiao. Senior, you saw it, it's right in front. Okay, don't run into danger. This little girl is too impulsive. Qiu Shangxian finally remembered where the uneasiness in his heart came from. Because Xiao Xiao ran too fast before, he ignored Ye Fang's words. This is two people. When Qiu Shangxian saw Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli, he couldn't help but become wary. Two people dare to come to Pearl Lake, one of the core areas of Pearl Forest. What does this news mean? If he is not a tough guy, then he has great strength. At this time, the little dream monster floating in the sky saw so many people suddenly coming, and it very obediently floated to Yang Yu's head and grabbed his two pigtails. This dream monster has an owner. And the master of the dream demon is one of the young people in front of him. At this moment, Xiao Xiao suddenly sat down on the ground helplessly, looking at the dream monster on Yang Yu's head, and then at the elf ball in his hand. BB Bird in the elf ball was seriously injured. I couldn't help but feel aggrieved. Why? Yang Yu was dumbfounded. Hey, why did you suddenly cry in front of me? Why? I haven't even taken action yet, why do you dare to cry? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 220. Sorry, I didn't expect Dream Demon to be your elf. Qiu Shangxian realized that they had made a serious mistake. Ghost elves rarely appear during the day, especially in the forest, unless this is an elf summoned by the trainer, or something big happened in the forest. This cannot be blamed on Xiao Xiao. To be fair, even Qiu Shangxian himself, if he encounters a ghost elf floating in the air in the forest, the first thought that comes to his mind is to catch it. One of the reasons why Pearl City is called the Magic City is because the city has two elf gymnasiums, the Super Elf Gym and the Ghost Elf Gym. Not only do the Ghost Elf Gyms not have the same characteristics as other cities. Expelled, he was welcomed. Almost all elf universities in the Magic City have this concept. If you have a super type or ghost type elf during college, then it means that you are a trainer with great potential. If you have an elf with both attributes at the same time. Yeah. Dede, who was walking a little faster in front, turned around and found that Yang Yu seemed to have stopped, so he slowly walked back holding his golden basin. Huji. Xiao Xiao was a little confused. Why didn't he continue to move forward and go back the same way? Superpower system. Qiu Shangxian and the four of them all saw the pink and chubby figure. At the same time, the owner of the big, dull eyes seemed to feel the surprise of the four of them, and scratched his head with his left hand holding the basin. What's so surprising? Which elf university in the Magic City are you an elite student from? Zhao Shangxian asked subconsciously. Even if this is just a slowpoke, it still has super talents. Don't underestimate the students at the Magic City Elf University's pursuit of the two elf attributes, the superpower system and the ghost system. Even Slowpoke will master the mysterious telekinesis moves in the superpower system in the future. But then again, what is this golden basin? Is it a fish tank inlaid with gold? Such luxury. By the way, students who can have two kinds of elves, the super type and the ghost type, are not luxurious at all. They are the elite among elite students. This is also the reason why Qiu Shangxian and the others were shocked. No wonder two people dare to come to Mingzu Lake. Qiu Shangxian looked deeply at Yang Yu, who was holding the little dream demon in his hair, and felt a hint of fighting spirit in his heart. There is absolutely no one like this in the Magic City Elf Normal University. There are no more than 10 elite trainers with both the superpower system and the ghost system. So, which elf university will it be from? Elf Jiaotong University or Elf Fudan University? On the political and legal side, only a few forensic medicine students would choose both superpowered and ghost-type elves, right? I'm not a student from the Demon City Elf University. I came from Hangzhou. Yang Yu shook his head, and he was a little confused. How come these people who looked like college students, would conclude that he was from the Demon City? What about the students? Hang Chen, Qiu Shangxian was stunned and asked directly without thinking, are you an elite student of Hangzhou University? Hangzhou University, Yang Yu shook his head, no, I'm not from Hangzhou University. What? You are not from Hangzhou University? At this time, even Wang Xiaoli jumped up in shock. His loud voice directly scared Yang Yu and Qiu Shangxian. Even Xiao Xiao's tears were retracted in shock. Why are you shouting so loudly? Qiu Shangxian looked at the two people in front of him in confusion. What's going on? You two are not in the same group. Of course I'm not a student of Hangzhou University, and I never said I was. Yang Yu looked at Wang Xiaoli beside him angrily. This guy suddenly jumped out and roared, startling him and refusing to let him go. Let people talk nicely. Wang Xiaoli couldn't understand. Over in Hangzhou, apart from Hangzhou University, what other elf university could produce such a terrifying young trainer as Yang Yu? When Wang Xiaoli saw Yang Yu summoning Gyarados, he subconsciously concluded that this was definitely the top elite student in Hangzhou University, the absolute top. Result, hell no. People personally say that he is not. Then you are. Wang Xiaoli didn't know what to say. He just felt that Yang Yu in front of him suddenly grew taller in front of him. Boss, this is the real boss. He is obviously very powerful, but he shows so little strength on the outside. It turns out that great power can do wonders. Wang Xiaoli felt that he had vaguely grasped a little bit of the truth. Qiu Shangxian and the other four also held their breaths. They were also surprised as to which elf university Yang Yu was a student of. Hangzhou University of Electronic Science and Technology. Yang Yu was a little funny, watching what he was doing. Have you ever heard of this elf university? Qiu Shangxian choked. He is from the capital city himself. For Hangzhou, he only knows a famous elf university like Hangzhou University. As for the University of Electronic Science and Technology, this seems to be a University of Electronic Science and Technology. Lu Ming thought for a moment and then answered subconsciously. Yefang. Xiao Xiao. You are such a genius. This is the name of their university, why the hell do you even need to say it? I have a few high school classmates at the Magic University of Electronic Science and Technology. I think I heard them say that their school is not very friendly to the local University of Electronic Science and Technology. Xiao Xiao said in a low voice. Incredible, this must be a very powerful elf university. Why did you choose such a school instead of going to Hangzhou University? Qiu Shangxian exclaimed. He did not expect that apart from Hangzhou University, there are many other schools in Hangzhou. How could there be such a school that could produce such an outstanding and young trainer in front of him? Having both a super-type elf and a ghost-type elf at the same time, such a foundation is quite terrifying. If you cultivate it a little, you can become the best among the elite students in the Magic City. After all, just the two attributes of superpower and ghost system already represent a lot of meaning. My college entrance examination scores were not high enough to get into Hangzhou University, so I had no choice but to go to Hangzhou University of Electronic Science and Technology. Yang Yu was a little confused. This handsome and calm young man in front of him, how could he ask such a question? A silly question? Not enough points in the college entrance examination. Qiu Shangxian felt that his heart had suffered 10,000 points of critical damage. This reason was too bloody and too real. At this time, Wang Xiaoli looked at Yang Yuyun's gentle explanation and was instantly impressed by the four people in front of him who seemed to be elite students from the Demon City Elf University, which greatly encouraged him. It's too strong, with great force, miracles will happen. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 221. By the way, why do you think we are students from the Demon City Elf University? Yang Yu reached out and touched the head of the impatient little dream demon who was tugging at his hair. He kept comforting him and said to Qiu Shangxian and others. Cleared his doubts. Qiu Shangxian glanced at the little dream demon on Yang Yu's head, then at the slowpoke beside Yang Yu, and said generously, because you have a ghost-type dream demon and a water and super-type slowpoke. Beast, the two attributes of ghost and superpowers are very popular among students in our Demon City Elf University, so I thought. The high school students in the Pearl City of the Magic City really like these two types of elves, and both the super-type gyms and the ghost-type gyms are in the Magic City, Wang Xiaoli whispered. So that's it, Yang Yu smiled softly, but he was still a little confused. Why did this girl's bird hit the tree, and why did Yang Yu cry when he saw him? Oh, by the way, we thought your dream demon was a wild elf, so this girl wanted to capture it and caused trouble to your journey. We are deeply sorry, Qiu Shangxian apologized again, even calling Yang Yu when I spoke, I took the honorific title Yu with me. Strong trainers in the elf world deserve to be respected regardless of their age. Yes, I'm sorry. Xiao Xiao also stood up from the ground and apologized, her eyes still red. It's okay, are you students from the Demon City Elf University? Yang Yu waved his hand. They were not affected in any substantial way, and what the young man in front of them said was very easy to make people like him. Yes, we are students from the normal university. I brought the three of them here to catch wild elves. Qiu Shangxian nodded. Normal university. Yang Yu nodded with interest. You should be an elite student in the school, right? Well, so be it. Qiu Shangxian was ashamed. He didn't know why, but looking at the two young men in front of him, he felt a little ashamed of the title of elite student. Wang Xiaoli admired Yang Yu greatly. How many elite students from universities had he met in Pearl Forest? In short, few people are so easy to talk to, especially the powerful bodyguard group. After all, the powerful bodyguard group is not powerful enough now. If the Dolly bodyguard group could have someone as powerful as Yang Yu, no, half the strength, 1/3 of the strength, then, who would still look down on the Dolly bodyguard group? Wang Xiaoli feels that he has a long way to go. Since we are all going to Pearl Lake, we can go together for the rest of the way, Yang Yu invited, so that he could learn more about some interesting news about the Demon City Elf University. Haha, okay. My name is Qiu Shangxian. Qiu Shangxian happily accepted. Being able to work with a talented trainer from Hangzhou is also a good opportunity to learn from each other. There is no reason for Qiu Shangxian to refuse. Xiao Xiao. Lu Ming. Ye Fang. My name is Wang Xiaoli. when 4 students from the Magic City looked at Wang Xiaoli at the same time. Wang Xiaoli suddenly realized that by following a big boss, he could actually have a chance to become a big boss. It was this change in identity that made him feel a little nervous. When he said his name, he was still a little unsure. Whether it was Yang Yu or these elite students from the Magic City Elf Normal University, they would definitely become big bosses in the future. At least he is the boss that Wang Xiaoli needs to look up to. At this moment, Wang Xiaoli swore that the next time he said his name, he would not be so confident. He would shout out loudly, "My name is Wang Xiaoli." He also wanted to be a boss. There are some interesting things at the Demon City Elf University. There are so many interesting things. Qiu Shangxian was in a good mood. He didn't expect to meet Yang Yu here, so the topic started. There is an egg hatching university in Demon City, which is the elf university known throughout the country. The name Hatching Eggs is really not chosen casually. The best trainers in their school every year can obtain extremely high-quality elves from the school. Egg resources, being able to obtain the elf eggs from the egg hatching university and hatching the elf at the same time, that is definitely a great honor. Yang Yu's eyes widened. He really didn't expect that the egg hatching university in the elf world actually had such a real name. The elf has been with the trainer since the egg stage, which means that he will be with them throughout his life, including the egg stage. Therefore, such an elf and the trainer will often show incredible cooperation, and their strength will also be more powerful. When Qiu Shangxian said this, the smile on his face also became serious. The cultivation level of the cultivators at Fudan University is very terrifying, which also makes the elite students of their school have a better foundation. Yang Yushin nodded in agreement. Although the name Hatching Eggs has a joking meaning, it also proves that the research power the school has put into cultivating elf eggs and the elf egg period is very terrifying. Actually, you don't have to worry too much at ordinary times. There are very few students who can get elf eggs. However, when the national competition next spring comes, you have to be very careful when you meet Fudan's elite students, because these elves have obtained extremely good results during the elf egg period. With good cultivation, you will master some inherited moves that are very rare among wild elves, Qiu Shangxian continued. Then Jiaotong University, there are so many traffic elves in their school. They fly in the sky, run on the ground, and swim in the water. They are probably the most diverse and numerous in the country. They are also very powerful. What about your normal university? Yang Yu continued to ask. Haven't you ever bought or used the move learning machine in the Elf Alliance? Xiao Xiao on the side couldn't help but said, her eyes filled with disbelief. Many of the move learning machines are made by our Demon City Elf Normal University. There are also many legendary moves. Yang Yu touched his nose in embarrassment. It seemed that he was indeed ignorant. However, he had never bought a finished move learning machine in the Elf Alliance. I don't know, it should be within common sense. Xiao Xiao, Qiu Shangxian couldn't help but frown. Don't forget, in addition to the move learning machine, you can learn elf moves, and they can also be taught. No, I'm sorry, Xiao Xiao was stunned. She didn't mean to be disparaging, but most of the move learning machines in the Elf Alliance were like this. Isn't this common sense? It's okay. I really haven't noticed this. I'm really not that clear. These moves are too expensive. Can you get some cheaper ones? Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 222. Your Slowpoke is so cute. Wow, there are actually fish in the golden fish tank. Yeah. After hearing the compliment, Dede still nodded and scratched his round head, and still protected the small golden basin with his other hand. The pointed tiger teeth are exposed, the carefree look, and the smile on his face are very healing. The anger in Xiao Xiao's heart soon dissipated. The girl's emotions came and went as quickly as they came. As he walked, Yang Yu felt that the naughty little dream monster on his head was starting to make a fuss. When he smiled and was about to say something, the scene that appeared in front of him was like a new world opening. Shock-horned deer. Yang Yu's eyes lit up. It's a group of deer with shocking horns. Lu Ming and Yefang also looked surprised. I saw a deer in the forest. Qiu Shangxian murmured softly, his eyes also shocked by the scene in front of him. I never thought I would come to Pearl Lake one day. Wang Xiaoli took a deep breath. At this moment, his eyes were completely filled with the spectacular scene in front of him. Pearl Lake is here. Right in front of them. As long as they take a few steps through the jungle, they can reach the grassland next to the lake. In front of Yang Yu and others, a group of brown-colored, ring-shaped horned deer appeared. There was a black ball in their horns. The deer were taking a nap and drinking water, and they made wow noises from time to time. Ming. Huh, a frightened deer seemed to have noticed the arrival of Yang Yu and others. It immediately stopped drinking water, raised its head, and looked at the group of outsiders carefully. Yo! Hearing the calls of their companions, soon, the frightened deer all raised their heads and cast curious glances at Yang Yu and the others in the bushes. Then, he seemed to feel that there was no threatening aura from Yang Yu and others, so he lowered his head and started to drink water. The scary antlered deer has a gentle temperament and will not actively attack the trainer. The idea of capturing the scary antlered deer once again came to Xiao Xiao's mind. The scary antlered deer can create phantoms through the horns on its head. I really want to think about it. Catch one. Xiao Xiao, are you sure you dare to challenge so many horned deer by yourself? Lu Ming suddenly felt frightened. Shut up, I'm just thinking about it. There are so many horned deer here. How could I be stupid enough to just lay on the ground and run up to catch them? Xiao Xiao rolled her eyes. Although the scary antlered deer have a gentle temperament, as elves that live in groups, if a trainer wants to capture them, they will have to consider whether they have the strength to do so. What a big pearl lake! This is the first time Yang Yu has seen the lake in the elf forest. It is like a secret realm deep in the forest, with many wonderful scenes that cannot be seen in the city. The little dream demon nodded in agreement on Yang Yu's hair, raising her two short little hands high, as if to say, "What a big pearl lake! Take a photo as a souvenir. By the way, don't turn on the flash and don't make any noise," Qiu Shangxian said with a smile. Okay, 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 Xiao Xiao raised her hands in agreement. Wang Xiaoli was also very moved and wanted to take a photo. It's great. He can brag with the bodyguards in the bodyguard group when he goes back. He, Wang Xiaoli, has also been to the Pearl Lake area. Yang Yu had no interest in taking pictures. He stood with Dede, looking at the very quiet and peaceful place in front of him, and at the frightened deer with their heads lowered and drinking water, and he felt calm in his heart. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. The slightly cold air in the forest is refreshing. Come on, let's take a closer look. Yang Yu was about to step out of the woods. The little dream demon seemed to be thanking the dream demons in the woods. Quiet. Yang Yu heard the voices of the dream demons. He could vaguely see some ghost demons appearing in the woods. They slowly dissipated in the woods. Thank you, Yang Yu waved gratefully towards the woods as he walked out of the woods. Wang Xiaoli, who suddenly thought that he was still protected by the dream demons, immediately bowed inside. He did not expect that he was really protected by the dream demons in the Pearl Forest all the way to the Pearl Lake. This made Wang Xiaoli feel filled with emotions for a while. This is the ghost elf he fears the most. What are you? Qiu Shangxian was stunned, not quite understanding why Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli wanted to thank the woods. When he and Xiao Xiao looked into the woods together, they saw nothing, except for a few a fallen leaf. Empty, nothing. Haha, it's nothing, Yang Yu laughed without explaining. Since the dream monsters were hiding and had no intention of showing up, he didn't need to say more things for no reason. Thank you for not encountering any danger along the way, Wang Xiaoli added. Yang Yu's eyes lit up, that's what it means. Yo. Suddenly, at this moment, these frightened deer seemed to feel some powerful aura coming, and one by one they stopped drinking water by the lake and raised their heads. The same goes for the several bibio eagles and bibills drinking water from the lake on the other side of the lake. They immediately spread their wings and flew quickly towards the sky. Yo! Yo yo yo! Under the shouts of their leader, these frightened deer ran towards the depths of the forest. Their instincts told them that some very dangerous elf was coming. Senior Shangxian, what's going on? Why did all the frightened deer run into the woods? Xiao Xiao suddenly pointed in the direction of the lake, with a bad premonition in his expression. Isn't there danger coming? Lu Ming subconsciously glanced in the direction of Yang Yu and Wang Zili. What did they just say? Thank you for not encountering any danger along the way. The forest doesn't want to accept your thanks and throws a lot of danger at the same time. It seems that the danger is even greater. Yang Yu and Wang Zili blinked and closed their mouths knowingly. What kind of scary elf could scare away all the frightened deer? Why are those flying elves screaming like they're desperately in the sky? Just when Qiu Shangxian was about to speak, a roar exploded on his head like thunder. Roar! This is... Qiu Shangxian felt his whole body shake, and fear gradually appeared on his face. Blue. Lu Ming felt that his breathing was not smooth. Incomparably vicious. Ye Fang subconsciously wanted to turn around and run away. Bang, bang, bang. Xiao Xiao seemed to be frightened and sat down on the ground again. From the sky, an extremely thick and fierce Gyarados rushed down into the lake, splashing, a huge splash of water. Yang Yu and Wang Zili blinked at the same time, and then slowly uttered a sentence at the same time. Is this scary? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 223. What time is it? Can you guys say a few words? This is the extremely ferocious Gyarados, Gyarados, Gyarados. Is the Elf Alliance just a freeloader? Doesn't it know that such a big thing as Gyarados appears in the Pearl Forest? A burst of cold sweat broke out on Qiu Shangxuan's forehead. At this time, he could only pray that this Gyarados didn't see them. Xiao Xiao felt that her legs were shaking uncontrollably. Although she was a little arrogant in the Pearl Forest, in the end, she was still a girl. She had a feeling. I don't know why, that Gyarados is eyeing her. Lu Ming and Ye Fang were also frightened. They were both freshmen. If they saw Gyarados, it was only on the screen of their mobile phones, but when Gyarados actually appeared in front of them. Wait, what's going on with this little dream monster? Why is it not afraid at all and floating in the air? Instead, it seems to be looking at them very excitedly. Qiu Shangxian felt that his expression was numb. He remembered some information about elves such as Dream Demon. Bastard, when has this been? Are you still staring at our fears? Huji! Huja Huji! In the golden basin held in Dudu's arms, the little fish jumped out of the water happily, and then fell down again, as if it was imitating the action of the salted fish king entering the water, making big splashes. Yeah. His dumb hands were wet from the splashing water, but he was still very happy, because he roared when he entered the water from Salted Fish King, and felt the refreshing mood of Salted Fish King. This is freedom. That's right, the Gyarados that appeared in the lake, is none other than Yang Yu's Salted Fish King. The Salted Fish King felt energetic and transparent all over his body at this time. He had not stretched out and fluttered like this for a long time. It felt so fun to chase these flying elves. It was like surfing in the water, flying in the sky. At that time, ho 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 ho. What a cool one. The only thing that may be a little unpleasant is that when walking through the forest, the leaves in the forest are too dusty and a bit dirty. However, this is nothing, there is a lake. Well, aren't Master and Dede over there at the lake? Well, there seem to be a few more people, and there seems to be a girl among these people. Master, let go of that girl and let me scare her into tears. There was a loud sound in the sky, and the salted fish made a shining appearance. Sure enough, the moment the salted fish king appeared on the stage, the girl was intimidated by his aura, and she was just one step away from being perfect and cried, "Xiao Xiao, get up quickly and run." I, 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 I can't stand up." Xiao Xiao felt that the Gyarados had been staring at her, and she was so frightened that she almost lost her soul. When she heard Lu Ming and the others saying that they wanted to run away, so anxious that tears fell down. How come there is a Gyarados in Pearl Lake? Ho ho ho. The salted fish king tossed several times in the lake excitedly. There were countless water elves in the lake who were hurriedly trying to escape. Their minds were full of questions. What was going on? At the same time, some carp kings came one after another from all directions in the lake. When they saw the tall and mighty body of the salted fish king, the water splashed with joy, and started to move. Qiu Shangxian felt that he was confused. He couldn't understand what the Gyarados was doing. The body of the Gyarados was moving rhythmically, coupled with the carp splashing around the Gyarados. The sound of splashing water splashing. Are you dancing in the Pearl Lake? Yeah. Even more incredible things are yet to come. This slowpoke actually ran towards Gyarados. What should I do with the fish in the golden basin in my arms? Oh my god, you're not going to be eaten, are you? Just when the minds of the four of Qiu Shangxian went blank and they were about to turn around and run away instinctively, the hot blue man in front of them, actually followed Sloman and walked towards the Gyarados in the lake. Yang Yu, danger, Qiu Shangxian couldn't help but exclaimed. Don't be nervous, this is my salted fish king. Yang Yu smiled softly on his face. He didn't expect that the salted fish king would come back to him in such a naughty way, blasting into the water like a nuclear bomb. In other words, the elves in Mingzu Lake, except for the Carp King, the others are a bit miserable. At this time, there are countless confused big-tongued clams on the edge of the lake. They are huddled in their shells and blinking innocent eyes. They are probably doubting the shells at this time. Aren't they sleeping peacefully under the Pearl Lake? Why did he fly to the edge of the lake as soon as he opened his eyes? 2-level reversal? Yang Yu, watch your back. Go, flying mantis. Ah! Qiu Shangxuan's pupils shrank, and his whole body began to tremble uncontrollably. At this time, Xiao Xiao, who was scared to death, had already closed her eyes. She seemed to have encountered a very frightening scene. The huge body of the salted fish king was right behind Yang Yu. In the eyes of Qiu Shangxian and the others, the body blocked the light and shrouded the shadow, as if it was about to swallow Yang Yu. Flying mantis, shadow clone. Qiu Shangxian can only hope that he can stop Gyarados, even for a second. Only. Hey, hey, salty fish king, put me down, damn. Yang Yu was hooked by the collar behind the salty fish king like a little chicken, and he was lifted up and sat safely on the salty fish king's back. Qiu Shangxian? Yeah. The little dream monster opened its eyes wide, and the red irises in its eyes shone with an indescribable light. It seemed that it had discovered something very interesting. The little dream demon quickly came to Yang Yu's side, then hugged Yang Yu's head, grabbed Yang Yu's hair with her small hands, and sat firmly. Salted Fish King, start. Different from the previous cruise ship Salted Fish King, this time. Shake and shake, shake and shake, until I reach Grandma's bridge. Grandma says I am a good baby. Yang Yu. Salted Fish King, have you acquired any new skills? At this time, behind the Salted Fish King, Yang Yu and Dede, the little dream monster on Yang Yu's head and the little fish in Dede's golden basin, looked like they were sitting on a giant Salted Fish King rocking car. Same, in this huge lake, swaying back and forth, left and right, up and down. Waves of water appeared all around, hitting Qiu Shangxuan's heart one after another. Looking at the Gyarados in the Pearl Lake and Yang Yu sitting behind the Gyarados, Qiu Shangxian looked extremely numb. Oh my god, who is this Yang Yu? Ye Fang looked at the scene in front of him in confusion. No, he won't. He won't be eaten by Gyarados, right? Xiao Xiao didn't dare to open his eyes at all. It's incredible, Xiao Xiao, look, Lu Ming and Ye Fang's expressions were exactly the same. Wang Xiaoli's eyes are still so hot, this is the real genius trainer. Xiao Xiao opened her eyes, and at this moment, the scene in front of her was deeply engraved in her mind. So handsome, right? I wrote half of this chapter last night, but I'm out of shape. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Xiao. Chapter 224. The Salted Fish King at this time is the king of the Pearl Lake. Not to mention that powerful dragons cannot overwhelm local snakes. The moment Salted Fish King entered the water, the elves in the entire lake area were so frightened by his intimidating domain that they only dared to huddle in their own small territory and did not dare to swim out. The Pearl Forest is not a primitive forest like endless mountains. In this type of forest between cities, for the safety of trainers, the Elf Alliance sends a team of elf observers and a team of breeders to the interior of the forest every year. Inspection. Once an extremely destructive and threatening elf like Gyarados is discovered, he will inevitably be taken to the rivers and seas. Otherwise, for trainers who travel between cities, once the wild Gyarados goes crazy, that's a disaster. At this moment, Qiu Shangxian and the others, including Wang Xiaoli, looked at Yang Yu who was sitting behind Gyarados in the Pearl Lake with a hearty smile. How they wished they could be like Yang Yu. How about raising a Magikarp? This mysterious thought filled Xiao Xiao's mind. She looked at the Carp Kings desperately jumping out of the water around the huge Gyarados in front of her, and lost her mind for a moment. Is he really a student? Qiu Shangxian had a wry smile on his face. He thought that he had seen the Super Water and Ghost System combination of Slowman and Dream Demon, which was already Yang Yu's true strength. With such a configuration, it's enough to put many elite students in the school to shame. Now, the appearance of Gyarados has completely refreshed his knowledge. This is a pervert, Xiao Xiao muttered, but for some reason, her eyes shone with a strange light, and she added, I like perverts like this. Lu Ming and Ye Fang glanced helplessly. They both had a certain fondness for Xiao Xiao. Who wouldn't like a good-looking and capable female trainer? However, they met Yang Yu. If Yang Yu was just a little better than them, they would also have the intention to show off their strength in front of Xiao Xiao, but now, this is a crushing of strength. Gyarados alone can scare them to death, and they still want to fight? Forget it, let's stay alive and provide that dream monster with some fearful nourishment. They don't want to use soil as fertilizer so early. Sure enough, there are people outside the world, and there is a sky outside the world. Qiu Shangxian was extremely happy at this time. Fortunately, he did not offend Yang Yu who appeared in the forest. At this time, Qiu Shangxian glanced at Xiao Xiao subconsciously. Xiao Xiao seemed to have realized something at this time, and said blankly, I wanted to catch the Dream Demon before, and I even used the BB bird, will I offend him? What, Xiao Xiao, you also used BB bird? Lu Ming and Ye Fang suddenly felt out of their wits. You didn't ask BB bird to stop Yang Yu's actions, right? Xiao Xiao nodded stupidly. How did I know that something like this happened? Xiao Xiao squatted down with her head in her hands and started crying again. Her head hurt. Qiu Shangxian also felt a headache. He, Lu Ming, and Ye Fang caught up from behind. During this period, they had no idea that BB Bird was involved. When they arrived, they only saw Xiao Xiao sitting on the ground holding the elf ball. Didn't see the BB Bird. Wait, holding a pokeball. I'll apologize later. Hey, Ask him if he's going to our Mingzu city. If he goes, let's treat them to a meal. Qiu Shangxian knows the world very well. After learning about Xiao Xiao's incident, and made a decision immediately. Yeah. Don't be so reckless next time, let this be a lesson. What? Invite us to dinner? That's great, Yang Yu didn't expect such a good thing. What he prepared in his backpack were some compressed foods, which mainly served to replenish energy and fill the stomach, not to mention whether they tasted good or not. Delicious. Qiu Shangxian mentioned the previous incident of BB Bird. Xiao Xiao's BB Bird initially wanted to stop Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli's actions. Because of this, the group of them wanted to apologize again. Yang Yu and Wang Xiaoli glanced at each other. Bibinayo, didn't he accidentally hit the tree trunk by himself? Why did he mean to stop them? Suddenly, an idea flashed in Yang Yu's mind, and he thought of the dream monsters who had said goodbye to them before. Now, everything can be connected in series. So that's it? But this is really not a big deal. Even if BB Bird really wants to stop them maliciously, Dede has already used superpowers to teach it how to be a good bird. Besides, the girl named Xiao Xiao has cried once, etc. Wait, why does it look like you're crying again now? Since it's hard to refuse such kindness, I'll accept it. Xiao Li, it's just right, you can join us. Wang Xiaoli was very touched. After all, he was just a guide who ate and drank without doing anything, but he followed Yang Yu all the way to Mingzu Lake. Now, Yang Yu invited him to have dinner with him. If this was in normal times, even if Wang Xiaoli wanted to invite these elite students from the Demon City Elf University to dinner, no one else would agree. Yang Yu, can I ask you, how did you cultivate the Carp King into such a huge Gyarados? Xiao Xiao felt uneasy. She didn't know if she would. It made Yang Yu feel disgusted, but it was obvious that she was overthinking. There's nothing that a meal can't solve. If so, please give Salted Fish King a meal. Hearing this question, Qiu Shangxian, Lu Ming, and Ye Fang also felt their hearts skipping a beat. They were worried whether Xiao Xiao would go too far by asking this question, but in their hearts they still wanted to hear what Yang Yu had to say. Who doesn't want to have a powerful elf like Gyarados who is bound to be domineering when he appears? But, the wild Gyarados, want to capture it? Thinking too much. Groups of Gyarados will call you Dragon's Wrath every minute. Go catch Magikarp and breed it yourself? This is too much to think about. For an elf like Magikarp, I don't know how many trainers and breeders shed tears of sadness in the end, either going bankrupt or on the road to bankruptcy, except for a very few cases. There's really nothing to share about this. It's nothing more than feeding energy cubes, strengthening training, and drinking some potions if there is potential. When the time is right, it will evolve naturally. Genius is 99% perspiration plus 1% inspiration. However, sometimes, 1% inspiration is more important than 99% perspiration. Yang Yu spoke very calmly, but Wang Xiaoli, Qiu Shangxian, and others could feel that this was not easy. Suddenly, I was in awe. Why are you all looking at me so seriously? I should be able to catch up on the third update tonight. Hee. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 225. I probably won't be able to catch Mary Lu today. Qiu Shangxian looked at the empty area around Mingzu Lake, not even a trace of a bird. He rubbed his temples and smiled helplessly on his face. Yang Yu blinked, he seemed to know some of the reasons. Cough, 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 this matter. Senior, it's alright. It's already worth it to meet such a powerful young trainer from Hangzhou today. Xiao Xiao's face was not depressed at all, and even looked bright. If it weren't for the fact that there was almost no signal here in Pearl Lake, she would definitely give it to her sisters right now. No, she can't show off. If she shows off, she won't be able to beat them. However, it sounds like they can keep it. This young man from Hangzhou in front of me is so cool. I feel like my face is going to turn purple just by looking at him. If there are no elves on this side of the lake, let's walk along the road. I'll put away the salted fish king first. If you have any elves that need to be captured, I can help, Yang Yu said. The salted fish king had a lot of fun today. Now, it's almost time to take a rest. This. The eyes of Lu Ming, Ye Fang, and Xiao Xiao all lit up. With the help of such a big man, are there any elves that they can't catch? That's really troublesome for you, Qiu Shangxian was a little embarrassed. You still have to catch them yourself, but I can ensure that they won't escape, Yang Yu continued. After all, the salty fish king's justice from heaven directly caused the entire lake to fall into silence. Even the shadow of the flying elf was so frightened that it disappeared in an instant, leaving only a few feathers in place. Yang Yu and others continued to move forward in the direction of Mingzhou City, but the road they took was more remote and remote, but as long as they found the right direction, they could reach the final destination no matter how they walked. Boss Xili. While passing by another trainer camp, Wang Xili also met the bodyguard members of the Dali bodyguard group. It can be seen from the shocked expressions on the members' faces. They were very surprised that Wang Xili appeared deep in the forest. In their impression, doesn't Boss Xili always guard the base camp of the bodyguard group alone? Why today? Could it be that you met a ghost? When Wang Xili saw the expressions of these bodyguards, he knew what they were thinking. However, the current Wang Xili was no longer the timid Wang Xili. He had experienced the torture of the Dream Demon clan and the fright of Gyarados. He's going to vent. Boss, please don't transfer us back to move. Moving is not as fun as being a bodyguard. Boss, I know you're the best. How terrifying would it be for a big man to act coquettishly with a strange force? Maybe this is a strong man locking up men, right? In short, Yang Yu, Qiu Shangxian and the others quickly turned around, it was so annoying. The harvest this night was pretty good. Because under the influence of the tidal magic city of Pearl City, Gugu in Pearl Forest has a miraculous effect on elf battles for elite students, especially against some opponents who have ghost-type elves. Red eyes can see through everything. During the day, Gugu is still very cute. If he stretches out his 2 feet to walk at night, this cuteness may shrink and become more serious. Xiao Xiao captured a Gugu, and the feeling of holding Gugu in his arms was also fluffy. It was just that when Gugu released the red-eyed concave convex laser at night, in the darkness of the night, it had a frightening effect and was even very effective. Frightened Lu Ming and Ye Fang to the point of numbness, and gave the little dream demon another good meal. The next day, Lu Ming and Ye Fang followed the road back to Mingzhou City and successively captured a Dudu and a Dudu in the forest. They were both excellent elves for them. Lu Ming needs the assistance of grass-type elves. At the same time, he is stressed about raising elves, so it will be much easier for him to choose grass-type elves. According to Ye Fang, owning Dudu is equivalent to having an elf that can run on the road. It is a traffic pet, which is of great help in elf battles and in life. When Yang Yu and others walked back to the main road in the Pearl Forest, they walked straight for a short time. After passing a trainer camp again, they were almost at the exit of the forest. This is the edge of Mingzhou Forest in the direction of Mingzhou City. If you go out from here, you can see the Mingzhou Cross Sea Bridge. Qiu Shangxian pointed in the direction directly in front of him and said, "By the way, Yang Yu, you come from Hangzhou. Are you going somewhere?" "I'm going to the Magic City Elf Jiaotong University." "What?" Qiu Shangxian was stunned. "Oh my god," Xiao Xiao screamed. "I'm going, won't I be going to the school headquarters?" Lu Ming and Ye Fang were also surprised. "What's the matter, so surprised?" Yang Yu smiled, "Go to Jiaotong University and study." "Is there any activity at the Magic City Elf Jiaotong University? Why don't we know about it?" Qiu Shangxian glanced at Xiao Xiao, Lu Ming, and Ye Fang. The three of them shook their heads at each other, indicating that they didn't know either. Qiu Shangxian looked at Yang Yu's puzzled expression and quickly explained, the headquarters of Elf Jiaotong University in the Magic City is right next door to the headquarters of our normal university. There are more beautiful girls in our normal university. Isn't that what we say in Elf University? Normal University is the back garden for boys from Jiaotong University. Yang Yu didn't expect that there was such a relationship, so it seemed like it was still a smooth road. If there are any activities, our normal school should know about it as soon as possible. What's more, for a young trainer as strong as you, isn't this a big deal? Qiu Shangxian continued to explain. Yang Yu suddenly realized and said quickly, it's nothing big. It's just a learning exchange activity organized by our university. We sent a few people to Jiaotong University to have an exchange. Let's communicate. Qiu Shangxuan's mouth twitched. With such strength, he went to Jiaotong University to communicate. He wasn't going to cause trouble, was he? That's great. If you're so close, it seems like we can come and see you after class. Xiao Xiao couldn't tell how excited she was. For a boy like Yang Yu who is both young and has such incredible strength, there is no resistance at all. Ah, don't go to such trouble. I have 2 roommates coming with me, so I probably won't have free time. Yang Yu wiped his sweat. What happened to these little girls? One is Zhang Yuxuan and the other is Xiao Xiao. Is it possible? Did you become different after being beaten and cried by him? Stop making trouble. This Xiao Xiao was not made to cry by him, but by herself. Is that so? Then there will always be a battle between elves in the exchange, right? We will definitely go and watch it then. When he heard the words elf battle, Qiu Shangxuan's eyes lit up. If he could see Yang Yu's performance in the elf battle, he would be very willing, even if he had to skip class, he would go and watch it. This is an elf battle between top elite college students. If there is an elf battle, can you let us know and bring your roommate with you tonight? I'll treat you. It's settled happily. Yang Yu's sonorous and powerful answer made Wang Xiaoli on the side stunned for a moment. I don't know why, but an idea suddenly appeared in Wang Xiaoli's mind, and then he couldn't get it out of his mind. When boss Yang Yu sought out his junior bodyguard service, was it because his junior bodyguard service was cheap? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 226. With this deep doubt in his mind, Wang Xiaoli stayed at the entrance of Mingzhou Forest in the direction of Mingzhou City. He has his own bodyguard group, which is his business. After experiencing this unforgettable trip, Wang Xiaoli watched Yang Yu and Qiu Shangxuan's group until their backs were no longer visible. At this time, Wang Xiaoli turned around, looked at the entrance of the forest, and stepped in firmly. This time, he wanted to go alone. Why, the subway in the demon city of the elf world is so crowded. When Yang Yu came out of the subway, he felt as if he had lost his mind. To be honest, even in the forest, he had never acted so scared, but he didn't expect. The little dream demon lay weakly on Yang Yu's head. She was very energetic and had her eyes wide open in the forest, but now she also looked a little depressed. It's too crowded. Hey, that's how it is on the Shanghai subway. And at this time, although we are not at work, it is still the evening rush hour, not to mention the citizens who bring their elves to play around the Pearl Forest on weekends. Qiu Shangxian shrugged helplessly. He shrugged, just get used to it. Xiao Xiao never thought that a master like Yang Yu would be troubled by the metropolis subway. He secretly stuck out his tongue and found that this young trainer had more of a fireworks atmosphere and was more real. This is the Magic City Elf Jiaotong University. Yang Yu walked to the intersection and saw a few words on the door. The students coming and going were also surrounded by various elves. However, the strength of the elves seemed to be stronger than that of Hangcheng University of Electronic Science and Technology. Much more powerful. Our school is on the right, and on your left is the Demon City Elf Egg Hatching University, Qiu Shangxian said with a smile. In this case, the four of us will go back first. There are still some things to do, so let's just say goodbye. No problem, thank you for your warm hospitality. Yang Yu left the phone numbers of Qiu Shangxian and the four of them. It has to be said that it is quite good to have a few more companions along the way, and it feels very comfortable. It is better than some people in the school's elite league. How many times? Well, the free dinner was so comfortable. However, the location of the Demon City Elf University is a little different from that of the previous life. The campuses of three very famous universities here are just across the street. However, there are really many students here. Yang Yu rolled his eyes slightly. He seemed to have just seen a student holding a glass product in his arms at the door of Egg Hatchery University. There seemed to be an elf egg in the cylindrical glass container. However, Yang Yu had just stepped into the door of Jiaotong University. Later, I discovered that several more people were holding an egg incubator in their arms. What's going on? Doesn't it mean that only a very small number of top students at Egg Hatching University can obtain elf eggs? How did it become? The streets are ruined. Yang Yu felt that he needed to find someone to ask. Are you talking about the students' elf eggs? The security guard at the gate smiled and pointed in a direction outside the school and said, all students here, if they have money, can use their student ID cards to go to the Elf Alliance to buy an elf egg, but they need to have intermediate training. The strength of the family, well, I have an elf egg right here. Yang Yu watched helplessly as the Jiaotong University security guard gently knocked on the egg incubator in the corner of the table. What was in the glass container, if it wasn't an egg incubator? Yang Yu secretly sighed in his heart. Even the security guard at the entrance of Jiaotong University had the strength of an intermediate trainer. He didn't know how many students in his school would be ashamed after hearing this news. It is indeed one of the top elf schools in the country. Then what if a student thinks this egg is not good and wants to throw it away? Yang Yu couldn't help but ask. Which student dares to do this? The momentum of the security guard suddenly increased. The incubator contains information records specifically for elf eggs. Once an abnormality is found, after verification, the Elf Alliance will impose credit penalties on the person who caused the abnormality. Then all your family members will be affected. Yang Yu took a deep breath and thank you, Uncle Security Guard. I didn't expect that the Elf Alliance that sells elf eggs would have such a set of detailed rules for purchasing elf eggs, but this also reflects the Elf Alliance's respect for every elf egg. After all, this is a living little creature. This kind of elf egg sales service is impossible to see in my own school. Sure enough, in a big city like Shanghai, the quality of many service facilities has also improved. Do students raise their own elf eggs? What a huge temptation this is. Especially next to the Egg Hatching University. The Egg Hatching University itself has a reward policy to reward outstanding students for cultivating excellent elf eggs. This is much better than scholarships from other schools. This elf egg will undoubtedly last a lifetime. One of the best partners among them, a reward from the Egg Hatching University. It cannot be measured in elf coins. This embodies the careful cultivation of the entire university's cultivators, as well as the school's humanistic care for the students' spiritual world. Cultivating elf eggs is also a kind of experience. It can wash away the carelessness of the trainer, it can make the trainer better understand the difficulty of growing an elf, it can make the trainer realize. In the elf world, elves and humans are inseparable from each other. This is a community of destiny. Elf eggs are the babies of elves, which will put more responsibilities on the shoulders of trainers and make them less impetuous. Let's go take a look. Yang Yu felt that he had no reason not to take a look at the elf alliance near the school, especially the news about the elf eggs. After all, Yang Yu was in the game in his previous life. I have a great obsession with cultivating an elf with the best personality and high individual value. The little dream demon clapped her little hands on Yang Yu's head excitedly. She felt relieved after coming out of the crowded subway for a long time. She must be happy this time. Oh! The high school branch of the Elf Alliance. This unique geographical environment has the school area of three major elf universities: Haching University, Jiaotong University, and Normal University. The Elf Alliance will inevitably establish a branch here. After Yang Yu showed his senior trainer badge, he entered the Elf Alliance. However, he did not feel the surprise in the eyes of the security guard here. He just glanced at it lightly, as if he was offended after seeing too much. It's not weird anymore. However, when he saw the cute little dream demon lying on Yang Yu's head, the security guard grinned and winked to tease the little dream demon. Yang Yu's heart surged and he put away his senior trainer badge. The demonic city's attitude toward ghost elves was indeed very unusual. Magic City, it really is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 227. Where is the place that sells elf eggs? Yang Yu walked straight to the front desk and asked. The little dream monster on his head was lying on his stomach obediently, but his big eyes were scanning the surrounding environment. It has never seen such a classy place. Forget about the subway station. When taking the subway, you can just go back to the Pokeball and stay peacefully. That place is a place where ghosts are worried. Wow, what a cute dream monster, the young lady at the front desk smiled sweetly, and she was very pretty. However, the little dream demon doesn't seem to be interested in the little sister's smile. It's cute, but it would be nice if she could be scared. Then there will definitely be a lot of fear. Little dream demon, you can't play pranks on others here. Yang Yu smiled and reached out to touch the little guy on his head. The harmless smile of the little dream demon stopped trying to prank and scare the young lady. It's so good, really. The place that sells elf eggs is on the 3rd floor upstairs. You need an intermediate trainer badge. However, you look like a dream monster, so you must be a powerful trainer. Just go upstairs, the lady at the front desk pointed out. Like this, pointing to the stairs and elevator on the side. Thank you. There were elves accompanying the trainer in the Elf Alliance. Yang Yu also saw several floating ghosts and Casey. The little dream demon above him saw the ghosts that also exuded a ghostly atmosphere. He waved his little hand and said hello. Jajaja. Gaisai's laughter seems to have always been this, weird. On the other hand, the owner of Gaisai and some of Casey's owners nodded with Yang Yu. Although Yang Yu didn't know them, he could roughly tell that this should be the relationship between trainers with super-type elves or ghost-type elves. It's etiquette. After all, elves with these two attributes have a prominent status in the Magic City. When Yang Yu brought the little dream demon to the 3rd floor of the Elf Alliance College branch, he was quickly attracted by the glorious scene in front of him. Under this golden light, the ground paved with crystal marble shimmered with golden light. A huge golden elf egg specimen in the center of the venue shone even more. It was incredible. The surface full of mysterious patterns seemed to reveal something. The complex mysteries of life in elf eggs. On the high platform covered with crystal glass walls, there are elf eggs of different colors lying there quietly, like a colorful exhibition hall. At a glance, everything is dazzling. The little dream demon lay on Yang Yu's head, dumbfounded. Her little mouth opened wide, and the red irises in her eyes showed a few colorful stripes. Her two little hands couldn't help but squeeze Yang Yu's hair. Little dream demon, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Yang Yu suddenly felt a pain on his head, and subconsciously reached out and touched it. What made him feel extremely heartbroken was that he actually touched out a few hairs. He didn't want to become bald so early. The little dream demon blinked, pouted, and flew down from Yang Yu's head aggrievedly, and came to Yang Yu's front. "It's okay, be careful next time, I don't want to become bald so early." Yang Yu looked at the little dream demon's pitiful expression, and his heart softened, and he reached out to hold the little dream demon in his arms. "Come on, let's go take a look." It's just that Yang Yu's eyes were only staring at the dazzling array of elf eggs in front of him, and he didn't seem to notice the expression of the little dream monster in his arms. At this time, the little dream demon reached out and scratched Yang Yu's arms, trying to attract Yang Yu's attention, but ying ying ying. The little dream demon pouted its little mouth, and its eyes were a little unhappy. It thought it was just here to see other things, and it could see everything else, but it was not allowed to see the elf eggs. Hey, 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 it has only been following Yang Yu for a long time, and Yang Yu wants to see the new elf eggs. Damn it, bad silver. No. Obviously, the little dream monster is jealous. Yang Yu only felt as if his collar had been scratched by the little dream demon. He lowered his head with a smile, and then pointed out a dark green and light green Bulbasaur elf egg in front of him to the little dream demon. However, the little dream demon doesn't seem to like it very much. "It's a pity that I'm late. Today, the flaming chicken's elf egg was bought by someone else in advance. The newly born flaming chicken is also very powerful. The evolved strong chicken also has the fighting system. What a pity. Yes, I originally wanted to come here to look for Charmander's elf egg. I sold one last month, but it hasn't come yet this month. If it can evolve into a Charmander in the future, you can take me to fly." The surrounding students looked at these elf eggs with longing in their eyes. However, even the branch of the Elf Alliance cannot satisfy all students' needs for elf. Some extremely rare elf eggs are even more valuable. City. However, for most students, they can only come here to covet and watch the excitement, and some of them even subconsciously touched their withered wallets. 200,000, Yang Yu swallowed his saliva, and when he glanced down at a sign with the amount inside the glass window, he decisively closed his mouth. Bulbasaur's elf egg costs 200,000 elf coins. I'm sorry to bother you." Yang Yu thought about the training class he had worked so hard for more than a month in school. It seemed to be only about 200,000, right? After working hard for a month, just buy an elf egg? You have to cultivate it yourself, and I don't know how long it will take for the elf eggs to become combat effective. Isn't this a small money trap? Feeling Yang Yu's resistance to the elf egg, the little dream demon in his arms relaxed little by little. Yeah. What's so good about elf eggs? The little dream monster is so cute and well behaved, and can scare people with Gyarados. How great! However, the little dream demon was not happy for a long time. Yang Yu quickly came to the high platform next to him and found that this elf egg was slightly cheaper, 40,000 elf coins. This made Yang Yu feel a little relieved. Don't look. The little dream demon blinked. Bad silver, weren't you not interested in elf eggs just now? Why have you changed your mind now? Damn it, bad silver, big bad silver. The little dream demon immediately broke away from Yang Yu's arms, opened her small hands, and opened them wide. Block. Must be blocked. You are not allowed to look at the elf egg, you can only look at it as a little dream monster. Yang Yu watched the little dream demon flying high in front of him, spreading his hands to block his sight, and there was an angry look in his eyes. No way. Yang Yu blinked. The little dream demon is actually jealous? Don't buy it. Definitely not buying it. Cannot afford.